Honey, what's happening?
Oh, it's just Godzilla battling another monster.
Who's he fighting?
I don't know. But he's got a fat... Hey, Godzilla vs Kong fans, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. I just got done watching Godzilla vs Kong, the epic monster movie they have been building up to. What I'm going to do here for you guys is giving you my spoiler-free review on my thoughts of this movie. Does it live up to the hype? Is it one of the better Monster Universe movies? All that I'm going to be diving in here right for you, so be sure you're hitting that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, man, because if I die today, I don't know how I'm going to explain gorilla butts in my search history for that intro. Help me out, man. So admittedly, like a bunch of people, I was extremely excited for Godzilla vs. Kong. Okay, this is basically, to me, their Avengers setup for the Monster Universe, pulling in the Godzilla movies and the one King Kong movie from Kong Skull Island and delivering on an epic battle of the ages. And I'm here to say, damn right they delivered on that. Godzilla vs. Kong to me is probably my favorite of the Monster Universe movies. I'm still debating whether I like Skull Island a little more, but one thing's for sure, even if terms and quality, it's not your best film, I gotta say, it's the most fun I've had in the Monster Universe movie, because as much as I was loving the Godzilla movies that they were coming out with, King of Monsters was a little disappointing to me. It's like we're fighting a three-headed Ghidorah, Godzilla's going after them, tons of monsters, and I was bored through a bunch of that movie. I can't really say that here for Godzilla vs. Kong. For one, this is the shortest Monster Universe movie they have made when you pair it up to all the other ones, and you can really tell that in the pacing of the movie because they kind of just dive right into it. To some, they may think that's a rush pace, especially with some of these brand new characters we haven't been introduced to in previous films. But to me, it's really just saying, hey, the movie's titled Godzilla vs. Kong. We know you really just want to see these two guys brawl at it, so we're going to develop as much story and purpose and reason as we can for why they would be fighting, and then that's all we're gonna give you. Along with that, one of the benefits of this being kind of their lead-up movie where you're bringing characters from previous films all into this one is we don't have to spend as much time developing the origins, the backstories, the reasoning why some of these scientists, archaeologists, or people in the military are doing what they're doing. That's one of the things that always boggles down in these Monster Universe movie is the human characters and how much screen time they dedicate to them when we really rarely ever want to sympathize with these characters and just want to see the big monsters. And for the most part, Godzilla vs. Kong was able to find that balance of switching in between the different human stories that this time around I actually was invested in. I was more interested in to see where they were going and the impact they had on the plot, while at the same time there were some other characters that came off very cartoony and thrown in there just for some comedic effect. Like you had Brian Tyree Henry's character, who was like this podcast conspiracy theorist on all the kaijus around. There were aspects of his character I found really interesting and insightful, but at the end of the day they kind of turned him into this bumbling idiot. Same thing when it came to the overall villain of this film, because you know a film's always got to have some sort of human villain attached, and they throw as little purpose to that character as possible, to the fact of just like, I'm bad and I'm gonna be bad no matter what the cost. But the payoff as to why is definitely something that has to be there because of that final act that is just phenomenal. The human characters to me that really stood out were Rebecca Hall and Gia, played by Kaylee Hoddle, who is the little girl that communicates with Kong. Those were the main human characters I was invested in, because really when it comes down to it, Godzilla vs. Kong is essentially a King Kong movie. I'm really curious to see how a lot of Godzilla fans are going to be feeling about Godzilla vs. Kong, because I am telling you, it really leans one way in terms of storytelling, and that isn't me spoiling anything for you guys. The posters do promise one will fall, and for the most part, I say they kind of deliver on that promise. More on that when I do my spoiler review, but still, there's no argument made here. If Godzilla got about 5 minutes of screen time, King Kong got double that with 10 minutes. Now that's just a simplification for you. Godzilla isn't really just there for 5 minutes. But Godzilla vs. Kong is really focused on the King Kong character and him being the driving point of the story, where I guess because of Kong's human characteristics, it was just easier for the camera to lean on him, to linger on his story, and the reason why he would want to fight back against Godzilla, when I feel bad to say it, but my boy Godzilla was kind of sidelined to a very minor supporting character that just kind of pops up when he needs to. In that aspect, if you're Team Kong, you're just going to enjoy the film that much more because you're going to see so much of good old hairy cheeks, to where if you're just a die-hard Godzilla fan, there's not much character being put into this guy, when I feel like, yeah, they definitely added more character in those previous movies. As me being a King Kong fan, like I said, that's some of the stuff I loved about this movie, is them treating King Kong like an actual human character, building up that emotion within him, having him kind of carry the story and what is going on. But I could really see some people coming coming out of this like, ain't Godzilla's the first name on this title? When it comes to the epic battles, I cannot overstate this enough. You need to watch this on the largest screen possible, okay? If you're feeling safe out there and willing to, go watch it in theaters, watch it in IMAX. If not, you're gonna watch it at home to be safe. I need you to be like 5 inches from that screen because you just need to enjoy how big, immersive, and visually beautiful Godzilla vs. Kong is. The director Adam Wingard really understands these characters and gives such unique action to some of the fight sequences. It's not just a couple of punches here and there, some dodges. No, they get really creative with some of the stuff they're able to do with these giant kaijus fighting. Because again, going back to like King of Monsters, there was a lot of Godzilla fighting big monsters, but when it came down to it, I wasn't that invested. Here with the cinematography, the weaponry, the shots back and forth that make you go, damn, that was a hit, is really the highlight of the movie and the thing that'll keep you going. Now, there's obviously something else in here I don't want to bring up in case some people don't know about it, but if you do know the thing I'm talking about, oh my god, I just want to see that on a loop over and over and over again. That final battle. Again, more on spoilers with that, but if you know, you know. Also serving the larger purpose of the monster universe, whether they decide to continue it or not, the way this movie ends does create a bigger universe that sets up a way for this franchise to continue that I would definitely be interested in seeing. It's the epic blockbuster you wanted of big monsters fighting, and they delivered on that, no doubt about it. So for Godzilla vs. Kong, I'm gonna give action 4 stars here. Like I said, the action is the moneymaker of this movie, and every second you get of monster on monster fight, and just that Hong Kong lighting cinematography only enhances that. Comedy in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. Like I said, some of the comedy was really given to some of the goofier human characters on here. Sometimes it landed, other times it just felt unnecessary and making a character wacky just for the purpose of being wacky. Drama in the movie, I'm gonna give it 3 stars here. Although the story was rushed and they were really just trying to give you the most simplest reason why these two would be fighting, I was still invested in the whole monster universe and what it means for the larger world they're creating. However, the film I'm gonna give no stars to. I mean, if you're used to big giant monsters, yeah, you're gonna see a couple of big giant monsters in here. And suspensive film, I will give it 3 stars to, because I was on the edge of my seat of whether what was gonna happen to one of these monsters in the film, because the movie does a good job in tricking you to what might happen. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it an A-, and critically, I'm going to give it a B+. For Godzilla vs. Kong, this is definitely one you need to add to your collection at home.
That's a keeper.
Like I said, right now I'm still on the edge whether Godzilla vs. Kong or Kong Skull Island is my top #1 of this monster universe, but for sure, the most fun I've had is with Godzilla vs. Kong and probably has the most rewatchability. See it on an IMAX screen if you can. If not, definitely check it out on HBO Max because it's going to be one to talk about. And stick around for my spoiler review. That'll be here and on the podcast channel with my boy Austin Burke. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris, Team Hairy Cheeks.